gonna start the meeting. We need to review and approve the minutes for our May 1st meeting, is that the one? Yep. Which is this meeting, is there any, I need a motion, I guess, Larry.
I move to accept the minutes for May 1st, 2024.
Okay, I second that. Discussion on these minutes, do we have any corrections or any changes that you know of? Okay, all in favor of the minute, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Any adjustments to the agenda tonight that I know about, any changes? I see a little hand over there in the way back.
Asked, if the planning commission and the board update could go after Greg, if possible. We had a marathon meeting last night,
Okay,
so hoping to.
we're not hoping to have one tonight. I know, I'm looking at all these people and I'm wondering. Okay, so anyways, yeah, I'm sure we can do that.
Thank you.
Okay, so I guess the first thing on the top of the list is vicious dog concern, Dan Webster. I read your report.
Under section 9.
Did you get a chance to look that over?
I did.
Okay.
Under section 9 and section 10 of the vicious dog ordinance for the town of Groton. This dog owned by Mr. O'Donnell Leach
Yeah.
named Billy needs to be posted as a vicious dog.
Yep.
It went on an unprovoked attack. It attacked a dog that was on a lead and a collar
Okay.
in the middle of the road off their own property, so it was uncontrolled.
Yep.
It took 22 stitches to close the dog up. I spoke with the vet. If the bite had been an inch lower, he couldn't have done anything for the dog. He would have had to euthanize it. After I finished my investigation, I was told by another individual that there'd also been another incident approximately a year ago with this dog and another dog, where they didn't bite, but they went at each other, and the dog once again was off its property near the telephone building.
Okay.
Okay? Under our bylaws, this constitutes a vicious dog. I have owned an Australian cattle dog. I know them very well. I put mine down for the very same reason, that it became aggressive.
Okay.
Okay? So, under this order, because it's being designated as a vicious dog, this is not a potentially vicious dog, this is a vicious dog.
Okay.
The next infraction, the dog should be euthanized.
Okay.
The dog also should be held on its own property so that it cannot inflict any other damages or injuries to any other animal or to the person leading the animal, who also was knocked to the ground, got bumps and bruises, had to go to the hospital and have x-rays. So this could have been very serious.
Yep.
Much more serious than it was. If it had been a little kid leading a dog or whatever, who knows? Okay? So.
No, and I agree under our bylaws and so on and so forth that we need to definitely take action and classify this so that if this happens again, which I hope it never does.
I hope it never does.
That
Do we have
can
any
deal.
recourse on this decision? Where the O'Donnell Lynch is the owners of it?
Which, well, we have a town policy and guidelines on dogs and behavior and how it's
Right.
classified and so on and
Right.
so forth. So,
Right.
I'm not really sure how, where are we?
Well, they,
A potentially vicious dog can have a hearing on it. Where the dog has created.
It's already
bodily injury,
attacked.
It is attacked unprovoked
That
on its
once.
own property.
right off its own
It
property.
doesn't matter if it's right off
Okay,
the
all right,
shop or
I'm
whatever,
fine with
it's
that.
off its own property. The
Yeah.
dog was not under control.
No, the dog slipped out unbeknownst to us. David has fixed that lock. She has a muzzle, she has a tie out. We've had dogs, and we've lived here for 25 years, we've had dogs the whole time. And that was an isolated incident. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, and
Yeah.
really, by us classifying it, then you shouldn't have anything to worry about.
Right. So,
Right, I think,
but I don't I don't quite buy the 2 infractions, because we never heard about that. Other infraction,
The other infraction purportedly, from what I was told, occurred when Mr. Pierce was walking his dog by the telephone shed. And your dog came off its property and went at that dog. They didn't contact, but it was substantial.
I'm not even sure it's the same dog. I mean, we only have this dog in here.
So we're not having like a trial here.
Yeah,
This isn't like a trial. The town, you know, according to the select board, we have to follow our policies and procedures on animals and attacks and so on and so forth. If we did not do that, and that dog attacked a kid, something else happened, or some other situation, then we would be held responsible because we didn't take this seriously. What do you guys, Larry? Zach?
Hearsay.
So I guess the question I've got is what, maybe because I'm sorry I'm
You
late.
just walked in, I
Yeah.
know.
I mean, obviously I'm seeing the report. Where are we within the process of the ordinance? Are we on a first?
Section 9C and section 10.
Correct, but I'm looking at,
This is not a potentially vicious dog.
Okay.
This is a vicious dog.
I disagree.
There is a difference.
okay, so what I would say
Any dog
is,
that creates bodily injury,
you know, by our ordinance,
results in surgery,
To a dog, not to a person.
I have
doesn't
no
matter if it's an animal or a person
well,
required.
I want to stop everybody there. What it comes down to is, you know, by our ordinance, right? You know, we've got a complaint, we've got an investigation. You can request a hearing for us to adjudicate that. What it comes down to is we need to stick to this, and we've gone down this road before. We have to stick to the due process of the ordinance, because that's why the ordinance is in place. So again, you know, you know, section 9A, B, and C, you know, we have a complaint. There's been an investigation. Is there a protective order that's been issued for this?
Because we would order it.
Okay, so,
Now, as a point of law, I'm the state of Vermont as a health officer when I reported this. The town has to take responsibility to do something to prevent this from happening in the future.
Are you referring to the 1 bite law, or?
No, I'm referring to
State
the health
law.
laws. The 1 bite law, you've already had. You get 1 bite. The second bite, the
Yeah,
dog
but it's a
is
bite
euthanized.
on a human being.
No, it does
Yes.
not have to be.
Well, that's what I've read.
It does not have to be.
so again, I think where it is now is we need to have a hearing on the issue.
You have my reports.
Correct.
It's not a hearing, it's, you make a decision according to the
Not,
order.
according to the ordinance, the next step, an investigation's been conducted by the constable. The select board now needs to conduct.
It is an alleged vicious dog. This, what my understanding of what Dan is telling
It's
me
already attacked.
is.
Correct.
No, what I'm saying is.
So it's not a potentially vicious dog.
Section 9 of the ordinance, there's due processes laid out here. 9A says that there's a complaint. 9B, investigation and hearing by the select board, that's where we are. Okay, now we need to move on to 9C. So we need to adjudicate this, and it's not part of a regular select board meeting. This needs to be specifically a hearing to discuss this issue fully and adjudicate it.
Okay,
Can I-
that specifically, excuse me, that specifically, a hearing is specifically, the way I understand the way it's written, and why Dan is here and saying to you, you need to make a decision is, he's already rendered the decision and said that the dog is a vicious dog. That is his report. He's giving me that information and saying this is a vicious dog. He's asking for you to make a ruling on it as a vicious dog. It's not a potentially vicious dog because the dog has attacked and I got injured. There's been an injury and I went to the hospital. So
I
because
understand
of that, there's 2 different things. You've got potentially vicious dog and you have vicious dog.
Which, so.
But again,
We
by
understand.
the ordinance, okay, and I don't know if you have a copy of this, but you can have this copy, because I've
I'd like a
got
copy.
several. It says section 9B, investigation and hearing. The select board, within 7 days, calendar days, or as soon as reasonably possible after 7 days from receipt of the complaint, shall investigate the charges and hold a hearing on the matter. If the owner of the dog, which is the subject of the complaint, can be ascertained with due diligence, said owner shall be provided with a written notice of the time, date, and place of the hearing, copy of the complaint.
Yes, but Dan did not make the complaint, he made a report.
Correct.
I did not make a complaint because I was advised by Dan
Well,
to have.
So
do this report.
here's what I'm gonna tell you. Based on what this says, this is the first time that we've been notified with Dan's investigation of the complaint. Correct? Am I correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So we have 7 days now to adjudicate this, and it's upon us to set a hearing, to have the discussion, to discuss,
This dog is already attacked, unprovoked.
Okay.
On his own property and caused bodily injury, both to a human and a dog.
Okay.
It should go, as she said, it's muzzled, chained, or confined. It has to be confined for 10 days anyways.
It's under quarantine right now.
Oh, and it also has now, it has a, okay.
Which we're not concerned about what,
Okay.
honestly, we're not, so just a second here, we're the board and
I know.
we're running the town, we're not really like dog policemen and stuff and this and that, this is a little, hold on, so it's a little, you know, we're trying to do the best we can with this, but generally, when things like this happen, it's not necessarily the town, it's lawsuits and all kinds of other things that take place during these things, so I'm just,
The town has culpability if they don't take action.
Because you have an ordinance.
okay, well, hold on just a second, okay, so one,
What I was asking is, could we have a copy of the reports?
absolutely.
Thank you.
And then, so our next step, I guess we need to have a hearing on this and,
Yes, we need to have a hearing within 7 days, or as soon as reasonably possible after 7 days. And again, when it comes to the protective order, that's the
decide-
long-term protective order for disposition of the dog. And again, I mean, that we need to follow this process, and that's, again, everybody said town has culpability. Well, the town has culpability if we don't follow our process, if we don't follow the ordinance. Because if we don't, and there's other questions, concerns, or it goes beyond the town, which there is the ability to, if we didn't follow our due process, again, if it's not done, it's gonna get kicked back. And then
So, at
it's
this
not
point-
an issue anymore.
we need to schedule a hearing.
Correct.
So, we need to do that. What? Okay, so we'll schedule a hearing and we'll send out notifications to
Correct.
everybody to attend the hearing.
And the,
I have a question for you.
okay,
He's quarantined for 10 days. If your hearing isn't for another 7 days, and that dog goes off the property again, and attacks somebody else,
You're liable. Vermont Lease City and Towns is not going to cover the insurance on this for you guys. I can tell you that right. The taxpayers got to pay for it. Because
I'm not sure that the town is responsible for people's animals. We're doing the best that we can
No,
here to
but
deal with this
the town-
situation, okay? So,
No, let me just-
listen, this is a board meeting and we are in control of this board meeting, okay? And we're running this board meeting. Okay? So we're not gonna get into a thing. We already said that we would schedule a hearing. We're doing the best that we possibly can with the information.
The question is what happens to the dog right now, because the dog was quarantined for 10 days.
It's quarantined.
It is cool.
But it's only for 10 days. That's what the health officer, and that's what Dan is allowed to do.
So they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do
But
for
what
the 10
happens
days
is
according to our
interim
policy.
Between that, my
So-
question is what happens between then? Don't get upset with me, I have a question.
So-
I have a legitimate question. If the quarantine is for 10 days, and you can't have the hearing for, at whatever you decide for that date, now we have a dog that's in limbo, that's not under quarantine because it hasn't made a decision, and there's no restraint in place for these owners.
So quite honestly, I'm not up to date.
so here's what we're gonna do. Section 8A. Grounds for impoundment of any dog may be immediately impounded if the dog needs to be impounded until the hearing, period. That's the end of it.
Thank you very much.
That's what the ordinance, again, I would say anybody wants a copy of the ordinance, take the ordinance. It's all there. We need to follow this ordinance, period. Because we've had issues, Dan, you know this. We've had issues in the last 2 years where people have not, and that's the reason why we redid this whole thing, is because it wasn't being followed. It wasn't what was needing to be done. So, Section 8A, subsection 1, potentially vicious dog that's under investigation pending a hearing. So the dog needs to be impounded until the hearing happens.
Thank you very much.
And we'll have to schedule a hearing, I guess.
You have to schedule a hearing
So,
in the next week.
Figure it out, send everyone a letter.
Right.
So I'll pick the dog up in the morning.
It's in quarantine right now. You don't have
Again, because we've gotten a complaint, okay, because we've gotten a complaint, again, this is so you can have it, because I've got multiple copies, but Section 8 of the policy, specifically to prevent the liability of any issue of an investigation of a potentially vicious or vicious dog, the town has the right to impound a dog until the hearing is adjudicating the situation. Yes.
What if we say, all right, let's not go to the hearing? What if we say, let's settle it now, or however?
Well, based on the way the ordinance is written, again, because we can't, because of due process of law, okay? We have to take a credible complaint that we've received, okay, that Dan put together. We are the judge and jury in this. That's where our role is in this ordinance. We need to take this, if we have any individual questions, that's all part of what the hearing is. So everything that we've discussed over the last couple of minutes, everybody gets their own opportunity to argue their side of the case. And the three of us make the decision on what is to happen with, what the disposition of, the dog and the protective order that goes with it following that hearing. And that's the process. That's what we have to follow, that process. Does that make sense?
It does to me, except the impoundment was never brought up by Dan or anyone.
Okay.
No, because we had-
Which now we
Because,
just brought it up.
again, it's in the ordinance. I'm being brought up now because I read the ordinance and that's what it says, and, see, and subsection 2, has reportedly, bitten a person off the premises of its owner. I would say there's a couple there that fall into this
And
category.
that's even with the first offense?
With vicious dogs and potentially vicious dogs, yes, those are the definitions in the ordinance, so, yes, I mean, that is what it says.
Where will it be impounded?
In Orange.
Okay.
Oh, I know what you mean, okay. And who pays for that?
The owner, doesn't it?
The owner does.
Yeah.
Correct.
I will call her tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Get it
Okay.
sent out.
Are you talking about Michelle Boyd?
Yes.
We know, yeah, she's good.
Okay, we're moving along. Cross Vermont Trail Association, Greg.
When are we gonna, notification what they're doing?
As soon as we
As soon as we have
determine
a
a date,
notification.
we'll let
And
it
I
know.
don't appreciate being interrupted while we're trying to run a meeting.
I just wanna know, I just wanna be.
I'm just saying,
So as soon as we have it scheduled, we'll notify everybody. What's that?
Can I finish my stuff?
Okay.
Okay?
Well, I thought we were done with the dog stuff. We're gonna,
No,
we're gonna,
I just got a call tonight, I've got another investigation going on another dog bite.
Okay.
Person. Zoning is fine, we're getting the permits in, so beginning to come in now. On another matter, I want to be considered for taking the pictures with the tablet. When it comes time to do that. I was told it may be put up for the bid or whatever.
what, hold on a
Not
second.
out to bid, ad in the
Oh,
paper.
I had in the paper.
Okay, I guess that's new information. I don't know anything about that. Do you guys know anything about that? We talked about the tablet and then John doing it and Dorothy doing it.
Now,
No.
now they said they weren't doing it, they were gonna put an ad in the paper.
I think it would be
Okay,
beneficial for me.
it's fine, apparently this is new news to us, so that's fine, okay?
All right. That's about it.
Okay. Thank you, Dan. You're leaving, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Okay, Cross Vermont Trails, Greg Weston. Hello.
I have good news.
Okay,
As Mike Nemise has been reporting to you, the trail project on the rail bed.
got started.
It's been started, it's going great, the first thing's already built. And the Cross Vermont Trail is working with the board committee
Yep.
to do signs.
Okay.
And also to, taking this opportunity to adjust the route of the trail, working with the buckaroos.
Okay.
So I had 3 things tonight.
Okay.
Just to say things are going great. And one is, this is the first 2 of them, is on this map.
Okay.
And the one is this dotted line, which is behind where the gas trail goes behind.
The old depot,
The old depot, yeah.
Yep.
And because it's wet, the summer trail has gone, just onto the road. But the Cross Country Trail has a grant, so we have some money that we can add to the town forward grant
Okay.
to, while the railway is being worked on, we could pay for this dotted line to also have the same work. So there'll be a culvert added and gravel.
Which I'm assuming that is all town land in
Correct.
there, so
Yeah.
we're all set with that?
Yes, and
Okay.
it's the fast trail right now, and Gary Lamberton is, on behalf of that, making sure it
Okay.
happens in a way that works for everyone.
Okay.
So one question was, just have the immediate question is, we need permission to town land. So,
Right. Discussion, Larry, Zach?
It's like 400.
Okay.
450 feet.
Which I know where it cuts through the woods there, whatever, and actually I think there's some knotweed in there. We might need to get the knotweed guy in on this project.
he's on it.
Okay, all right. I don't know, what do you
Is
guys?
this is all on, this is all town property, this whole section?
Yeah, it's property that's owned by the town.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes from town road.
You know where that
onto town
goes through.
property, back onto town road.
It's behind Dave's
Gotcha.
house.
So does it have to go out to bed, or are you just gonna?
There,
No,
it would add to the,
Yeah.
the Cross Trail will pay for it, so it'd be our procurement process, not the town's money.
Yeah, yeah.
And, I was gonna talk to, Blue Mountain Excavation, who's doing the main bed.
Yeah.
And maybe if they're here already, maybe it's just simpler for them to do it.
Yeah.
Or if for some reason that's expensive or complicated, then we would figure it out.
sounds like a good idea, yeah.
Sounds good. Get it
Sounds
done.
like a good plan, yeah.
I was very supportive of it.
Yeah.
Right. Does VAS have an easement on that, or are they just, we just?
Permission, the permissions that you sign, I
That's
believe,
right.
it is probably what they have.
Gotcha.
But it makes sense, we have a contractor here doing work,
Okay.
good opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, I agree. I'm all for it.
Takes people off Little Italy Road,
Right.
safety, so,
That's good.
yeah.
No, that's
So you need our yes to say,
I think so, like.
Go ahead with that.
You tell me, it's town property, so what permission do I need to?
So I guess, what's gonna separate this from the road? You know, the other question.
It's-
come right off the road.
It's, at the entrance from Power Spring Road,
Right,
it'll be the same as the rail bed is now.
okay.
So
There'll be will there be signage, I'm assuming,
Yeah.
like when you go on and
I'm just-
whatever and
I
all?
wanna, my biggest thing is just wanna make sure that if somebody, not that it's possible, if somebody took a left turn
Right.
to go out that way, that they end up on the trail, that trail
Right.
piece, you know what I mean?
Well, 2 ideas. One, we'll have a trail sign there,
Yeah,
and the trail sign, similar to other places, can explain not a road or,
Above some gates.
for this little road.
We don't need any more gates, Larry.
There's 2 more.
So the sign,
Oh,
and
get
then
them
the other
to
is, since it won't be driven on.
What about
it
an
is-
idea, since it's
Yeah.
a trail in the summertime,
Yeah.
what if you had a post you almost put in for the summertime and
Yeah.
it gets taken out in the wintertime, then you would solve all that problem, but people can use bikes and whatever and go through there, type of a setup, I don't know.
and I'm assuming there's gonna be a separation of grass or something between.
For the treadway for the summertime trail, it would be a gravel surface, but doesn't have to be wide. So it could be like 5 feet wide or whatever.
Right, but in the wintertime, it's just,
Yeah, but then the full width would be whatever, 16 feet, so they could maneuver through and it'd be at the shoulder. But that would be, the sides would be grassy, so there'd be a wide, flat, grassy area with a narrow gravel down the middle.
okay, Mike has them.
Just one question, Mike Thomas from Wells River, Chair of the Cross Vermont Trail Association. As far as putting posts in, pulling them out, very impractical in the long run. If a gate is decided in time, we have other designs like V gates or removable locking poles.
Which we're talking about a whole gate system for the trail system, but the more gates we have to put in for a small section like that would be, it's a lot of money and a lot of work for that. So if we can avoid that, then that would make, more sense.
And I think that's something down the road, we should see how this works out. If there is issues in, perhaps as a town and the Cross Vermont Trail Association, we can address this section as it goes. And as you all know, it's your town here, that will say right now when we're coming west to east into that section, we come on to Powder Spring, you have to do a zig, and then the zags along the road.
Yeah, right.
This would bring
It'd be
it
a
straight across the road.
Right.
And that would make it a lot safer, because you just go.
No, I agree, yeah.
The other thing we could do down the road, if it's needed or warranted for safety reasons, is you could put trail crossing signs in the proper direction either side, but let's see how it progresses.
Yep.
We're on board with all of that, but we don't want to jump the gun and, sign everything to that.
Right.
Off the bat.
Yeah, I think just long-term, something that makes sure that that trail where it comes into and parallels the road for that short space, there's something that separates the road from the trail, because what you don't want is a car going off into that or pedestrians getting caught in that.
It's usually fairly clear. And I like the idea of keeping the gravel kind of narrow, but in the wintertime, it's fairly obvious, the system.
And the snowmobile trail has gone through there for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
So the local people
Yeah.
are familiar with it. Of course, there's other people coming in.
We've just had some issues lately. We've had some issues lately with the rail trail and some things going on, so we're trying to now be more cautious and make sure that things are safe for people to be on it and so on and so forth.
In compliments to the town of Groton years ago, when you did put an ordinance enacted to preserve the trail so it doesn't turn into dry racing places and have it recognized.
Right. So I guess, I'm all for it. I say, yeah, that sounds like a great thing.
Yeah,
Larry?
I'm for it. Do you want me to make a motion?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll make a motion. I move to approve the Cross Vermont Trail proposal to add a section add a culvert, fill for grade and gravel treadway on the rail trail, vast trail that's on town property, right there on the map.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Okay, good.
The second of three things, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Is signs. So part of the forward project, so this the town will be paying for, is to put up these brown signs.
Yep,
Or whatever V-Trans says, that's their current spec.
sign spec.
Yeah, so, and it'll be 2 on 302, and then 1 at the corner of Powder Spring and Little Italy.
Yep,
So that people coming on 302, they can see where do I get to the new trail
Yep.
parking lot. So so one thing is to ask the town for permission to put it on the town road, or maybe you have a formal process for that sort of thing, I don't know.
not really that I know with it, just run it through Harold.
Through
Harold, the
And
road
make sure
commissioner,
that
yep.
there's no issues with that and whatever is, in my opinion.
And you're thinking that these are just on the opposite sides of
Yeah.
the Powder Spring intersection that kind of
Right.
indicates that things are going that way? Okay.
Yeah, and there's a one by the church and one by in front of the library. And
Okay.
those, I'm assuming I'm assuming Groton does not do 302 in the village?
Correct,
do
that
not.
would be,
So
that would
it's-
three
We have no,
V-Trans.
authority there.
We need an 1111 permit
Okay.
from V-Trans, and I can be the applicant, but the question is if the town wants to be the co-applicant.
Sure.
Sure, yeah,
And
might as well.
if you.
Hey, can you put in one for us too, for our flashing,
Road sign.
road signs for, slow down and
Different
stuff?
form.
If you feel ready, if you could just sign it and then I could send it in.
All right,
But that's the,
let the chair sign it.
right.
Applicant, so owner, applicant, what do I,
I was putting
co-owner?
you as the owner applicant
Okay.
and Cross from Montreal as the co-applicant.
Okay,
Since
gotcha.
you would own the signs, that's the vote right there.
What's that phone called?
So he called it a,
1111
oh,
form.
something,
Access.
I thought you worked for V-Trans.
I do. I work in finance.
I know that 111 permit very well.
can you submit one of those for us for the sign for
I
the?
never filled one out, but every time you contaminate the soil, it's dug out from some tractor trailer, going off the road, that.
The third thing is a question to begin,
Okay.
and not to do today, but, so speaking of permission, we've never actually gotten
Permission?
from the town
Okay,
to have the Cross from Montreal on the town property, well, except for tonight. And so I'm proposing this idea, which is, it's a license, which I'm sure you guys would want, at a future meeting, you know, you could
Yep.
consider. But I would give you the draft now and ask that it be something to consider at a future meeting.
okay,
And the value of this, it basically just, it's a license, it could be canceled anytime, so there's not any permanent commitment. But it's just puts in writing our intention to work cooperatively.
Yep.
And the key thing is, it matters to our insurance company.
of course.
So if we have written permission from the insurance company, then our liability insurance would cover if there's something that happens on the railbed that we're responsible for.
Even better.
Yeah.
Yep. So I would suggest that we put this through the town lawyer to just get,
Yep,
just a review, then
and then,
we sign it.
we'll discuss it.
Yeah, discuss it, sign it, yeah.
I don't know if it'll be ready at our next meeting or,
Yeah, there's no particular hurry since it's
Right.
20 years. But I could send a PDF copy to the village or something.
that would be great.
The last, when you get to the gates, I mentioned to Mike, the Cross Montreal Association has 2 gates,
Okay,
which are the same gates as.
the state,
As this, on the state forest.
Okay.
Except they're galvanized instead of painted gravel.
we were talking about we would galvanize them.
Yeah, and we have the parts of the gates, there's some assembly required.
Okay,
And the thing that they were originally for turned out not to happen.
okay,
So it's, if the town decides you want gates on the Cross from Montreal,
Yeah.
which is up to you guys, we do have gates if that helps with the cost. So.
yeah, we're definitely
Sure.
talking about,
Yeah, well,
thank you.
that's right.
Yeah, that's 2 more, that's 2 more than we started with. Mike,
One more thing to add to this. On July 20th, Groton Montreal Association is having its annual meeting.
okay,
And what we do with this is we pick different communities along our trail throughout the state and have our meeting every time. This year, because of the trail work here, we chose Groton to have our meeting. It's short, it's small, it's in the morning, mid-morning. We're gonna be honoring Michael and the other Michael, the 2 people that are working on this grant and the trail application, you know, giving a yeehaw.
good,
Whenever we do stuff in the town, we like you guys to know about it.
yeah,
So it won't involve police parking or anything like that. I just wanted you guys to be aware of it, and we'll send information to you as the date gets closer, invite you all to it.
Okay.
We'll probably do a little meeting there, talk about our basic business, and then perhaps do a trail ride in either direction, depending on what's available and what's under construction, what's not.
okay, great,
Just want to make
that
you aware.
sounds good.
Yep,
Thanks, Mike.
thank you.
Okay, good stuff.
I could give a brief Warwick update.
That would be great, Mike.
Very brief. So we have the new trailhead in parking area. I suggest everyone go take a look at it. It's nice. I think it's going to be fairly low maintenance, but we'll see. It's gravel. We're still missing the Hogan contract. Mike Geis has offered to go meet Hogan in Cabot. Pretty close, actually. I drove by it the other day, his shop, to get him to sign the contracts. Might be here in a June meeting to say he hasn't signed anything, and we're going to award the work to Blue Mountain to do it, because they were the next highest bid. They're also doing the railroad end.
Right.
So it makes sense if for some reason we don't get this executed by your next meeting, we're gonna have to shift gears and go to Blue Mountain for the culverts, I think.
Okay,
Everything else is going well. The state reviewed the title report and had all sorts of comments about the spring rights, the water rights, do we intend to use them? And some old lien holder, first something bank I've never heard of before. I didn't even see it in a report. So I sent those to the town attorney to review and comment on.
Okay.
I don't think it's a problem. So then the next step is gonna be, once we get that sort of response to the state resolved, go with the deed, meet with Green Mountain Power, and take the property.
okay, good.
Everything else is going well. So we've got the signs, you guys are working on the signs, and we're working with them, and everything's moving along. So
Oh, that's great.
the planning portion, we have SE Group, who we met on site, our project manager. We're having a public charrette on, we sent you the wrong date, didn't we? It's Tuesday, 25th, June 25th. So this is gonna be like a public meeting where the planning commission's hosting it here. And we're gonna actually start at the stump dump area just so people can get their eyes on it and start thinking like, what would be a good use of the Green Mountain Power property and the parts of the stump dump that are near it. So just putting that on your radar for now. I think we set a time for 5:30.
5:30 site visit, 6:30 back here for the
Yep.
charrette.
And then after the charrette, for people who cannot attend, there's going to be a survey period. So a couple of weeks where we gather more information. I couldn't make it, but I have a great idea for this place. So I just want to put that out there. And that's all I have for board.
Okay, good.
Planning commission, Mike's got something if we could go into that
Okay,
now.
might as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, folks. So
Oh, that's it.
my name is Mike Welch, I'm Secretary of the Planning Commission, and I apologize for bringing this information to you kind of at the last minute here, something that's not on the agenda. The Preservation Trust of Vermont has started a new program called the Village Trust Initiative. It's only for small towns under a population of 2,500. The concept really is to work with people in the community to develop projects, which is capital projects, not necessarily greenways, trailways like we talked about tonight, but building or infrastructure projects. Preservation Trust has put up some seed money. They want their seed money to be a portion of an overall project. So the capital stack that they're looking at is they'd like to have their money be about 25%, and then other grant funds, some fundraising to be able to show that funds to finance a project come from more than just grant funds.
Okay,
What they're looking at is, you've probably seen some examples of these community initiatives in elsewhere, like the Peach and Cafe. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, but is a nonprofit entity that was able to develop that cafe in an area that didn't have that type of facility available. And so that's the type of project. Craft beer in St. Albans, they've done the same thing with like the general stores that were going out of business, and then we're able to form community partnerships to be able to develop develop some of the stores. So the example here would be, we've got some properties in the village. The village district would be a high priority in terms of funding. They would get extra points because you are a designated state designated village. The applications start with a intake form, which is basically a letter of intent that needs to go in by this Friday. What that would do is would put us in the line for consideration whether or not they would accept a full grant application from this area. It wouldn't be from the select board. The select board, the town itself is not an eligible entity to apply, but a group of citizens can apply to promote a project. So ultimately, the concept is to develop a project, develop citizen input as to what they'd like to see that project actually become, develop a budget, figure out what the permitting requirements are, look at potential grant sources aside from this TDOT money. So it's a long process. They realize this is going to take 3, 4, 5 years to actually get through, but it's a start. We have met with Ben Doyle, who's the executive director of the Preservation Trust of Vermont here. We've toured some of the vacant properties that are here. There does seem to be some interest in terms of having Groton be a member community of the project. You're only going to award like 6 in this first round. There will be other rounds at a later date, but they haven't even set those yet because they want to be able to see how the process actually works with the communities they select for these initial rounds. So what we're asking you for, even though it's kind of, there's no concrete, we're not proposing purchasing any properties yet, we're not proposing starting any new organizations yet, we don't have a budget, but what we are saying is that there's an opportunity here through this program that didn't exist before. Is it something that we as a community should take a look at and whether or not we'll want to participate in?
Okay,
There would be a lot of community input as part of the process.
so the board, so it's not through the town, but the town has to sign off as support for this.
What their actual paperwork says is that have or expect to have endorsement by the select board to participate in the program.
Okay.
So all it's saying is you have endorsed the concept of participating in the program.
Okay, what do you guys think?
So that's that letter that.
See this letter.
Mike? Michael Thomas from Wells River. I'm a trustee of the Village of Wells River, and we're about a month ahead of you learning about this program down there. And we're very excited about it in our
Okay.
Village of Wells River, because it's potentially the type of thing you can do stuff you hadn't really thought of, or maybe ideas you thought of, but it's not covered under other programs to improve and help with the village designation type deal. So that's just an outside influence that's saying, we think it's a good idea as a neighboring community.
Okay. Larry?
No,
That-
I think it's a good thing to pursue. I'm in agreement.
Yeah, I'm supportive of it as well.
So I'd say the board definitely, we're in favor of it, and it sounds like a good thing and to pursue, and so.
If you wouldn't mind signing a letter of support, that would be great. Then we'll get through the process.
Because this has got to be in by Friday.
The intake form goes in on
Oh,
Friday,
it did.
and I'll be happy to prepare that.
Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you for,
We're always interested in good things as long as we don't have to do them all.
And we're not paying. We're not using taxpayer dollars.
I'll just take one last planning commission update, if that's all right. I went to a FEMA meeting on Monday night in
Thank you.
Greensboro. It was the state of Vermont watershed program discussing the FEMA updates. We're gonna have new digital FEMA maps in our town probably the next 3 years. The process is they're developing the maps now. They're developing what's called work maps. These work maps are their first draft, comes to the town, we review them. There's a 2-year period to review, appeal, to meet with them before they issue a final map. I asked a lot of questions, got a lot of answers that made no sense. I was like, oh, we've removed a bunch of dams since the last maps were made. Will that be taken into consideration? No, it won't. You know, so it's just, the appeal process sounds like just other towns that were there said, don't bother appealing, waste of money, and they're gonna say no. But I just wanna make sure that it's on your radar. Probably within the next year, someone here in the town is gonna get the FEMA flood maps. Sounds like they start with the select board chair, maybe the town clerk. But we should make sure we get those and review them and
Okay.
follow the process. Because that was one of the questions I asked, who do you send it to? They go, a lot of times we don't even hear from the towns. And then it's just accepted. And so I don't think we want to be one of those towns. I think we're going to want to see them. And also with the new maps, we'll have to update, and the planning commission will do this, the flood, the river corridor, yeah, bylaw that we have. I think it's a standalone bylaw. The state has model bylaws, so it's pretty straightforward. That has to be in place before the maps are finalized, so that we keep that funding formula when there's a disaster or the state covers X percent. And so right now we're in like the most favorable percentage. You know, we pay, I don't remember what it is, 12.5% or 7.5%. If we don't adopt the bylaw by then, we lose that. So then we end up paying 25%. So it's important to have that, but we should also follow the public process for the FEMA maps.
Okay.
So that's, I think, all we have planning commission.
Larry, you're in charge of that. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Moving along, I don't know if we want to get into too much discussion tonight, because gating the railroad bed discussion, I don't have any pricing yet back on gates. It's just a thing that we're gonna keep kind of talking about, I guess, when we have a minute to kind of discuss it type thing. So if you guys are okay with,
Yeah, that's fine. We can
unless
table
any
it
of
for
you
now.
has anything to add to that.
Nope, I think we table it for now.
Okay, highway, we got an email from Harold that just said, let me just see here. Highway, hey all, we have been grading our roads, are doing really well. We cleaned up the right side of the ball field and are working on little project at Sion Pond Road. Trying to deal with some flood stuff, which is a big thank you to Harold, I would say, for the ball field bottom section looks really good.
Do you know if it's helping with the drainage and water yet?
No, I don't think, I haven't heard any.
That's what it's supposed to do, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I think it will, because he put a swell and he ripped everything out, and hopefully everything's gonna, so I thought that was good. He finally, because I think we talked about doing that last year.
Yeah.
So that got done, so that's good.
That's great.
So that's all I have for highway.
And maybe you gotta talk about the gates at Stump Dump?
Oh, did we?
Talked about it last
Okay.
week.
Did we? But you weren't here. They're having more problems at Stump Dump. Stuff with trash got dumped, and people are drawing on the container that's there that needs to go, and so on and so forth. It's the fire departments, which we've sent a letter to have it removed.
Where would they remove it?
I don't know. They've never used it.
What, is it empty?
Yes. Well, I don't know, it used to be empty, but I don't know if it is anymore, but it was a training thing that supposedly they were gonna do, but they've never really done much with it. And then they have a junk car, a training car, that needs to go, that can go to the junkyard. I don't know, that,
It's on the right in that section that's getting all,
Yeah.
right, redone and
Gates
stuff.
are up.
yeah.
Right, so Harold went and bought gates because he was tired, remember we talked about gates, but
Yeah.
and then now we're at that point, people are still dumping stuff out there and whatever. Those must be something, I don't know what that is.
I'd check with Harold.
Old culverts, right?
Yeah, those old concrete culverts. And then that's debris people dropped off.
Yeah. No, I mean,
So that's kind of the update for
yeah.
For that.
Clean that before all that work is done.
right.
Right.
Treasurer, are you doing Lisa's thing? You know what's going on with her.
So Trevor Whipple came and he looked at all the constable stuff in the car. And he was here for quite a while, had to take pictures of the serial numbers, and he said he would go back and find out what the serial number, what the official thing was, and took pictures, and he said he would get a guide of what we have and what could, like the blue lights can't obviously go to anybody and stuff like that. He would make like an inventory of it all and then try to reach out to some people to let them know it was available if somebody wanted to make us an offer.
Which is great.
So that was good. He looked at the body camera and then all the stuff in there.
Good.
So that was nice of him, really. She has, what was your thoughts anymore on bulky day stuff?
You weren't here, we talked about that too, there was a suggestion about having a bulky day with a big dumpster and people could bring, you know, big stuff, which recycling does that, but
Reigate just had theirs last Saturday, and
Okay.
some of the other towns, not super close.
I guess I'd like to see some kind of a,
Was
more
it
of
till
a,
the dumpster's full and then that's it, or?
Yeah, I mean, how much can we
but it's
pay
just
for
a
it?
weekend, isn't it just a weekend thing, like a
Like
one
a
weekend?
one day,
Yeah,
2
one
hours,
day,
it'd be full
One
probably.
dumpster,
Yeah,
yeah.
Up to the
town garage,
town
Yeah.
garage.
yeah,
Smush it
but
down
it's,
with the
how
excavator.
much is, I forget what the rates were, it's fairly expensive,
Was it 850?
something
I
like
think it's
that.
on the last
It's about right,
minute,
that's not
isn't
that
it?
expensive.
Yeah, it was probably on the last minute
So it's
there
not budgeted
somewhere.
anywhere.
That's right, it's not budgeted
Which,
anywhere.
it's fine to do that, but if nobody, you know what I mean, if nobody comes, then it was a waste, and you know what I
Or
mean?
one house comes and,
I know, fills it all up.
Based on how it's used at at Reigate at the facility there, I think we'd probably get
I think it
a
would
full
get
dumpster,
filled pretty quick.
yeah. I think
But we
so.
don't even have a, but what would we do, town maintenance, cleanup, budget?
No, cause it's not, we're not cleaning up town property, we're cleaning
How
up
much did we
people's
spend on
personal
picking up?
property.
Debris on the side of the road last year, the last couple of years, couches and stuff.
We budgeted $100.
Okay, so
For-
if we can get a dumpster for
Extra
$100,
green
then
up,
we're
Oh,
good.
yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying, like, how much time and energy and you can work out a cost, but we did have some stuff that was on on the
Yeah.
side of roads and stuff that we had to clean up too.
Right, last year we had to clean up a few things.
I don't know,
put it
I'm
on
not a
the
huge fan,
green up.
I'm not, it's up to you guys.
Wasn't it your idea?
Let's,
No. Who's
I would just say.
think about it some more.
Yeah, we can think about it some more, but I think, you know, again, we already pay into,
Reigate.
Reigate to NEK Waste up there, and they've got that, but it's, you still pay by the,
If more people came in and said, hey, it'd be really handy if we did something like that, I guess it would be
What?
more, but I don't hear much
not that
about
we
it.
wanna, but, I mean, obviously you have to pay.
We gotta advertise.
So do we have people pay for it if we do that, or, I mean, is it just, how's Reigate doing it? They did as a free thing, or?
I don't know. Is it just bulky day and you just bring it all and no cost to you?
I was
Like
under the
anybody
impression
Generally.
it wasn't a cost.
Yeah, generally.
So the town, I don't know, maybe it's something that's budgeted and we actually have a thought for next year.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe do it kinda in conjunction with Green Up Day or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea if it was in conjunction with Green Up Day.
and put it in the Green Up Day budget and just budget a bulky day.
Yeah, that sounds like a good, actually, a
Yeah.
good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. She has that they came and did the spring cleanup of Veterans Park and got that,
It looks awesome.
yep,
They
looking
did a nice
good.
job.
Yep, I think they even fixed the tufts of grass out here a little bit too. So that was good. I think people talked about doing some more stuff down at Veterans Park.
Yeah,
The gazebo, putting maybe some lights around it and some hanging
I
plants.
had mentioned, had actually mentioned to Lisa about, maybe we could put some lights up for the summer around, outside, just to make it look a little more festive. And the seats, the picnic table things are pretty nasty looking and yucky, and so when I drove through Woodsville, I see they have little stone things out and new things, and I thought maybe we could
So-
think about some ideas.
That
maybe
catalog comes here and it does have a couple,
updating our stuff in there, because every year we try to do a
Benches.
little something to kind of put
Yeah.
into the park and make it more.
and think about whether we wanna get rid of those charcoal cookers.
Yeah, nobody's
I mean,
gonna
I
use
just-
those things. They
And
haven't used them in 100
possibly
years.
even what is in there now, the benches and a couple picnic tables that are rotting away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
Harlan?
a question, mostly because I use the park down there a lot now for my daughter. What are the costs of getting like a porta potty there? We were playing there and
Whoa.
other people asked, you know, like, oh, why isn't there a porta potty here? You know, if people are gonna be using the park more, like the possibility of having some sort of facility. I have no idea what the cost of that is. I'm just
I
throwing
think
it
they're
out
like
there.
$300 a month.
Yeah,
Seriously?
there's a monthly cost.
And
Yikes.
the only other concern I would have is if it got misused and turned
Or
into a
tipped
mess.
over,
Yeah,
or-
that would be my only concern with that.
I mean, one is
I
when
was gonna
there's
say, I
weather
think you
there,
have
but
a
I have an in,
relative.
but not other people do.
Right. You know, and honestly, if I saw a lot of, it seemed like, you know, if I saw a lot of people using the park in a
know.
regular thing, I would say, yeah,
Which would
let's
be
do
nice.
something like that. But I don't see a lot.
Or if we try it, and if it's misused, it's gone, and we don't
Right.
do it again, but.
Who pays for the one at Frost Field, us or?
The snowmobile club
We don't.
owns one.
I don't know who does that,
'cause there's
unless
one
Little
up
League
there.
does.
Yeah.
The snowmobile club owns one too. We own, or the club, somebody owns one. And it would have to be paid to be cleaned out, but we don't have to rent the,
Oh, you
thing-
can have the one at the Sugar House. Ugh, bring that right down there, you guys
Yeah.
pay to clean it.
Well, then, you know, if it's up, you're gonna get people driving, using it, that aren't necessarily,
True.
you know, like, there's one up this way that I see people just stop at.
which you will, but that's kind of the whole,
But that's also nice to think
if you were
that,
charging a car and you had to use the bathroom, that we don't have the charger thing
Yeah.
in, yeah, that would,
Or if
so
you're
maybe
traveling.
that's something to consider,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, I think
we
maybe
could always
like-
look too at what permanent option, if it's something that
yeah.
is gonna stay there, you know.
Or
sort of
something like
permanently.
up at that field that just comes in the spring and
Just
goes
as-
away.
Yeah,
and-
it goes away as
Yeah.
soon as the season's over.
Right. Yeah, something more, again,
I mean, has there never been tracked, is usage getting more down there? I mean, I don't.
Yeah, haven't seen a
I mean, I
lot.
guess Harley would know, I
Yeah.
mean, if,
When I was down there was quite a couple people there, more than I expected, I guess.
Okay.
and if we're, you know, gonna put in some new benches and
I guess we'll have
flowers
to
and
look into,
lights.
do you wanna look into pricing on porta potties?
I certainly can.
Okay, great, Harley. And then we'll discuss it at the next meeting.
See what happens when you mention something?
Dang it, I'll never do it again.
I knew. Okay.
I'll peel one is forever.
So that was the lights, so I have these solar, the big bulbs that you see a lot of people having, but they go by solar. I think that would be a great option for there, instead of trying to plug stuff in and have electrical. She's got down Tim Corey, who we tend to never
That's fine, we can
see.
try solar, if they get ruined and whatever, that's the end of it, I mean, you know,
I mean, same with ones that were plugged
right,
in.
no, I agree.
Yeah.
solar lights for what now?
The, around the.
Around the gazebo?
Yeah, at night.
Instead of turning the light on?
I mean, there is a light in the center.
There's
Yeah,
no
but
light, it's-
the idea was to make it a little bit more festive
Yeah,
for the
someone
summer
driving
and
through
attract
the
people
solar.
to be like, oh, hey, let's go.
Mine were
it
like
was-
$40. They're
Yeah.
not expensive.
Yeah, it was just an idea that
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought would be
Oh.
fun. We don't do a
And-
lot with the park, like,
No,
we
I know,
don't try
and
to
we
make
did
it
talk with the Red Tea Kettle is going to
hang some,
hang two hanging flower plants from it. Steve is gonna just put in the hooks and then, so it's not gonna be all around
So,
it, but it's gonna be
you know
like
how
two
I get
spots
these
of it.
ideas, I see other
Well, they
towns
are-
at night, and
well,
I'm like, oh, that's a really cool
Well, but I mean,
thing.
like last year, we brought back the concerts in the park, and I hope that continues this year. I mean, I know that a couple of them got rained out and they were in the community building, but,
Yeah,
you
so,
know, that,
having
I
it
think
be a nice
whatever we
place
can
to
do
be.
encourage that to be a more nice
That's where
place.
you're gonna
not
want the
a
porta
bad
potty.
thing.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna get pricing on it,
She's gonna
get a good deal,
figure
we'll
out
take it
when
for the summer.
Yeah.
so then that was, her next thing is about the tables and benches that are in that catalog. Not that
So,
it
I
has to be
guess-
from there.
Sure.
We'll put it
replace
on the
the-
agenda to maybe more discussion
Yeah.
about it and talk about it.
If
What is
anyone
it- it
noticed
makes
through
things so
Woodsville,
simple
The
now.
ones that are down there now are what? It's a concrete base with a metal and then it's got
No.
wood on them, right?
No,
Yeah,
they're just
here.
plastic. Oh, here?
here is that, yes. Yes, they're cemented
Woodsville.
in, right
Yes,
here in
In the
Groton,
park.
yeah.
Yeah. in Red-
Yeah, and they were kind of falling apart and rusting
And
out.
I think the
and
wood,
they're-
isn't it wooden slats, aren't
Yeah,
they rotted?
wooden with the steel thing
Yeah,
and
yeah,
whatever. But I was just thinking those plastic ones are simple, you know, and more inviting.
Still gotta figure out, like I noticed the ones through Woodsville are chained down, so you gotta do all
I
that.
saw
stuff.
that, but I wonder with some of the structure we have from the thing, can we just
Yeah, if
chain
you
them
could get
down?
rid of that and chain it to the cement that's left.
Yeah. I don't know, something to
All
talk
right.
about.
No, not a bad idea.
So we had, I don't know if anyone saw the pictures of the trash strewed everywhere from the dumpster.
Steve picked it up, I saw him.
Steve picked it all up nicely and, you know, rebagged it. We gave him the bags, he cleaned it up. And a few hours later, Dorothy was here coming back and she called me, and the bear was just sitting there
No.
on the wall. I got pictures. I haven't shown anyone. So I walked out to see it, and he's just sitting there on the wall, walking across the memory wall, and already strewed through all the trash again, all the way up the bank.
So,
So he finally, I was watching him, and then he walked up into the hill, where are we, here, and just laid down. I could still see just a little bit of black. Went back to work, whatever, I was leaving, I was backing out, and glanced in my mirrors like you do, and I could just see a little bear sitting on his back end, eating some more stuff out of the dumpster.
so now we need a bear policy.
So I drove up,
It's all
yeah,
fish and game and.
That's
So-
not good.
yeah. So Steve
that
has cleaned it up again and took the trash with him,
So,
which was very nice.
So why are we getting trash in there that the bear would be attracted to?
Well, that's what we were thinking, so like, I eat like a yogurt and a thing, and, or a peanut butter and fluff sandwich, I eat the whole thing, so I don't know how all
How
this
dare you?
food trash is, like, there's not a lot of trash produced from
Other
us.
people
fire department?
Either the fire department having just some food trash from their meetings or whatever, or someone might be throwing their garbage
So-
in there.
have we talked about, that's through Pete's, right?
Myers.
Oh, through Myers? We should have Myers come and put one in with a bear bar on it.
So I called Myers, and
Yeah.
he was gonna check, and he didn't get back to me. He must live where he has to drive by. He said he'll drive by on his way home. And he said something about everyone is fencing it in with electric fence. And I
No.
was like,
No, they make them that are either, the lid's chained down or they've got a bar that goes across the
that's what
lids.
we saw on another company's, so I think we gotta,
We may look at that, we
Yeah.
need to look at that.
so I
They
think,
can't do that, I mean, again, part of it too is we don't want people putting their other trash in there.
right, we could at least get it locked where at least other people's trash aren't going in. And I was even thinking our trash here gets taken care of, but it's never full. It could even sit for a couple weeks and then be taken out the day that trash is coming to get
Of
picked
course,
up.
much
he
do we-
knows
how
now.
much do we
He'll
spend?
keep checking that dumpster.
How much do we spend a month on the dumpster? Probably probably 100.
200 maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say, probably.
That much?
Yeah,
How often do they pick up? Once a month? Twice a
I
month?
feel like they don't come as often as we always
Well, I think
think.
my dumpster's
Twice
bigger
a
than that.
month.
It's $65 a month. They only
And
pick
the
up once a month.
recycling one.
Oh, I don't know.
But
Well, okay.
I mean, I'm just thinking, for that same price, we could look at like Casella, and you don't necessarily,
so
they've
we
got a truck.
switched purposely from Casella to Myers.
Oh, well, I'm not, maybe not Casella.
Make Myers come deal with it.
Well, I think we at least get it locked so people's trash other people's
Yep.
trash is not going
Well,
in.
if it's locked, he can't get it, the bear won't get into it either.
Maybe. I mean, it's just that wire
Can't
across that I
he
remember.
wouldn't- He wouldn't be able to get through that.
So anyway, that's the bear story. The garden shed has been moved and the can cage is gone, so that happened.
Which is great. Thank you.
The drainage project fire marshal, permit was sent, so that part is done.
Okay, good.
And the yard sale, May 25th, for anyone who wants to sign up.
Okay. I'm not letting you read that anymore. You've dragged that on.
Sorry. Now you got my stuff.
Yours better be short.
Okay, mine is short.
That wasn't even you. I put it under you. Goodness.
That was for Lisa.
Well, the bear thing, I witnessed that. To put that under.
Don't be going out and playing with the bear.
That's funny. Okay, so we have, I'll be quick, the local emergency management plan
Yep.
we did, I sent to NVDA, still waiting to hear back.
Okay,
We received the certificate, the approved certificate of highway mileage, so that is all set. This thing
Okay.
happens every year. Dan has been getting a hold of people that are on the dog warrant, and people have been coming in and getting their dogs done. And the next step will be to go to people who have never licensed their dogs. That will be his next step after that.
okay.
So this other funny thing is an opioid settlement, this big lawsuit that happened. And, through Walgreens and all the big names you hear about on TV. So the states were awarded money, the towns were awarded money, and Groton has been awarded $1,170.77. which sounds wonderful. We have to spend it on opioid
Prevention?
treatment, prevention, care.
So do we put in one of those machines with a,
So I copied and pasted the emails. I asked the contact person, I emailed back and I said, we're a small town and, you know, what could we spend this money on? Just to get a better idea, because it wasn't very clear. So they sent me back this long thing. It's not easy. I don't know. It's just like programs and all this stuff. So I sent it along to Brenda and Derek Curtis on the Fast Squad, because I thought maybe they have ideas. Maybe we can just buy something that they know of that could fall under this. So I haven't heard back from them yet. So if we don't, so I have to go in and make a portal and open do this account and all this stuff to have the money and blah, blah, blah. If we want to refuse it or just, you know, just say, oh, that's okay, thank you, it just goes into the pool of everyone else gets it who's getting it. So it doesn't like go away, another town will use it, or we take our $1,100 and have to spend it on that specific things.
which I kind of feel like if the Fast Squad or whatever didn't have some specific problem or something that they could see to use that, then we probably would be easier just to give the money back. What do you guys think?
Yeah, what can you do with $1,170?
Not much.
Yeah, address the misuse and
Multi-day.
abuse, treat or mitigate opioid use.
Good question.
Okay.
Does the Fast Squad carry marketing and all that stuff on their things, and does that come out of their budget?
I-
I mean, do they carry all the special things?
It does, but this sounds like it's more prevention related, not like
Normal,
Yeah, not.
I mean, it'd be nice if we could use the money to do something that the town
Yeah.
benefit from it.
Yeah.
As opposed to sending it back, but I mean, we're not gonna focus on the treatment plan right here.
Right,
Yeah. No,
right,
but I
that's
mean,
what
I
it
think-
sounds about, care, treatment.
And I think Brenda and Derek are the right people to.
Yep.
to
unless you want to start something with it and
Oh,
you
no,
could,
yeah, there's a country going right across the street from my house,
Well,
so
see-
we might need that money.
you could be in charge of a committee and then to use the $1,100 budget. See, nobody wants to do it.
I would be very happy to work for the town, I worked for another town for many, many years, but that would not be my strong suit.
So,
So I'll wait to hear from them, and then,
okay.
Yeah, if they can't
That
come up
should
with
be
it.
offered.
Yeah. Yeah.
if they don't have a use, you want me to just go in and tell them that we?
Yeah,
Yes.
we don't think
Okay,
that money for programming for a small town is not a lot of money for.
right.
Like, can we donate it to another program? I mean, I don't know. That's probably best to just give it back to them.
Then you must have this,
And then that is the last
Speaking of-
thing. So we got the warning and notice done. I gave that to you guys, so if you
Yep.
just take one and sign if you agree with it all. I have, you know, I printed a simple ballot. This is for the cannabis retail.
right,
So it's just the yes, no, that same thing of the petition, you know, cut it in half, it'll just be simple ballots. People can request an absentee ballot for this, and it'll get mailed to them, and can be mailed back. Be run like a regular election, June 18th, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. I am gonna do it in the town clerk's office, because I feel that worked well on a simple vote like that, where people really aren't gonna come in and then think about it. I think their mind's gonna be set, they're just gonna mark their yes or no and in and out. So that saves us setting up upstairs and being up there all day, we can still work all day.
motion for that.
I don't think so.
Do we need to make a motion for that?
No, I think if you just sign it, would be
Okay,
fine.
did we already make a motion, didn't we, no, I don't remember. I guess this is the one we chose. Was that, at the last meeting we talked about it, but I can't remember.
Yeah, we talked about it and then, I think I told you it was gonna be Australian ballot, I had just found that out that day.
Okay.
And then, so now we're warning it as of today's date, so it has to be warned for 30 days, not more than 40, so that's where the
Right.
date falls into that.
Okay,
Perfect.
Yeah.
good.
I'll donate my copy.
Do we have it on the signboard outside to make sure people?
Yeah, we will.
This is kind of a strange thing, do we have it?
Oh, yeah, it'll be everywhere.
It'll be everywhere.
Sign.
Can we get a green leaf on the sign with it too? No, I'm just kidding.
Of what?
A green leaf with it on the sign? No.
Oh, yeah.
There, I'll get that. I'll
Folder.
put it in the folder, yeah.
Okay,
And that is it.
okay, thank you, Carrie.
You're welcome.
So, assistant assessor, I don't think I had any.
So I have that for her. You gave it to
I
me.
gave it to you, that's right. Yeah, but it doesn't really say anything.
It's just, so they're at the Capital Fire Mutual Aid meeting. This is the form Dorothy needs signed for the grand list extension. She does every year. 60-day extension, just to go to PVR
I already signed it.
for lodging the grand list.
Yep.
Sorry. So that's signed and that's all she had.
Okay, thank you, Dorothy.
You're welcome.
Apparently we need to know more about what's going on with the
Right.
picture thing.
Yeah, she did say that to me, that they weren't gonna do it and she was gonna
We
put
are
an ad in the paper.
kinda back
I
and
know, I'm
forth.
surprised that there isn't anything here.
It's a bit of back.
Like, we don't have any communication,
She
like.
showed me the thing, it looked like that other one, but, the fire department thing that you
Oh,
said.
Yeah.
So she had photographer and the person to work for a few hours a month. My only suggestion was, well, just make it into one ad so we didn't have to pay for two
Right.
ads. And then that's the last I guess I heard about it.
Okay, fine. All right, fire and fast, did I have a report? I don't know where all my stuff went. Did
No,
you take
Is
it?
that what this is? I don't know.
Oh, yes, we did. We have, the only thing we had from the fire department was accepting bids, which is very vague and whatever on the roof, is all it says. And so I think we need something a little more
Well, I mean,
descriptive.
what date do we want to review bids? And it doesn't have to be open that long. And who's going to be the contact? Somebody at the fire department would be the contact. Yeah.
Right.
So by
I
bids,
think this is the ad, so I don't
Yeah.
know if more details.
bids should be submitted to the select board by, we just need to, I mean, I don't know.
Well, it would take a couple
June,
weeks.
June,
It should
June,
be-
when's the next meeting? June 5th?
That's our only meeting for June.
I think,
Right.
yeah, it's June 5th, yep.
So it'd be June 5th. Point of contact would be the chief.
Chief.
And put it out, we'll open the bids and go from there.
Write it on there and then I'll give that back to her.
We'll make it easy.
Well, the only thing is that it's a town building.
6-5, contact the
Technically,
chief.
it's a town building and, I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see
we-
what happens with all that.
Well, we'll see what it costs, I mean,
Right.
we'll see what I don't know what they have for funding available for.
Well, we have our building for,
Right, so we'll just.
Reserve
Yeah,
fund.
that whole reserve fund.
right, so.
Right. I just don't remember how much was in the reserve.
Library, is there anything, any word on anything?
No, I think everything's good.
Constable, I guess we already
We
covered
got
that. Zoning, we already covered
Got that.
that. Health officer, we already covered that. Maintenance, was there anything under maintenance?
No,
IT,
Bear.
no,
you got a new computer and everything's going good?
it's going okay.
Okay,
New computers.
Now you gotta remember all your passwords and log in and fix
No
them.
email addresses.
Oh, yeah.
planning commission, we got,
They did all that.
we
We
have,
did that.
correct, ongoing grants,
Yeah, we got
which
all
we
that.
talked,
So,
That one.
did we?
well, we haven't talked about,
CED, I have nothing new on that. I mean, you
Okay.
see all the wires going everywhere.
And they're putting poles up, that's all part of that, so I talked to Sean, geez, what's his last name? Sean from, Rygate. And he was talking to me about it, and that's why all the poles are going up, because they have to replace all the poles for what needs to be put on it
So
for
then
load.
they'll switch over all the wires and get rid of the old poles.
I guess, that's the plan, but
it'd only take like 5 more years probably to do that.
We got a couple banners on the old poles that will have to get moved
Who could
Yeah.
do that?
to the new ones. You just volunteered?
That's
Nice
what I heard too.
try, it only works
Didn't we
on
get
the
the road crew to
select
do
board
those before?
side.
I think Ben did them and.
Ben,
kinda-
yeah.
I don't
What
know.
about Steve?
It probably needs 2 people, so yeah.
Okay,
We got, I think Lisa reached out about getting flags up before Memorial Day too.
okay, cool.
That'll be good. The board, they did talk about the drainage, we all know is gonna hopefully start.
Yeah,
mid-June.
where have you been, Zach? You missed everything. We've
I
been
know,
like,
I've been-
we're going on it. It's,
Stuff's
you
happening.
spent how much
I'd
time
rather-
working
I
on
know.
all that
I'd
stuff?
rather be here dealing with this than there at work dealing with what I'm dealing with there, so.
Nothing on the community center. The EV charging station, I talked with Dennis Casey on that. He come in because there's no cell service here. That's a stopping point for it. but he would like us to reach out to Fairpoint Consolidated, about running a DSL line at that spot. See how much it would cost
I
to
thought
run
he
the
was
line.
working on this. How come
I
we're
guess
getting-
they wouldn't speak to him because he's not the town,
Okay,
and
But, I mean,
a monthly fee
we,
that we'd have to pay to
right.
have internet there, so.
it's kind of a,
but I mean, he's the representative of the town because we are allowing him to work on this project.
I mean, probably email, we could reach out to and ask
sure, of course.
what it would cost to just run the line.
Which I would assume would be a regular internet fee,
And then
right?
I'm assuming it would be like having any other internet cost that we have monthly, what is it,
Right.
$59 or something? a
Right,
month?
so it costs us $59 a month for having the charging thing, but the charging funds go back to us, right? If people pay to charge and blah, blah, blah.
There you
It
go.
gets so complicated, that's
Offsets
why we're
costs.
not in charge of this thing. I guess we'll see if we can catch up with E and see.
So, yeah, that's just the update on that.
Okay, what about tree grant, which Steve is working on?
Yep, he's got that all done.
Knotweed grant?
It's going.
I think you have a
just-
thing in there for a bill.
I signed
yeah.
it, yeah.
Yeah, I signed that
Yeah.
too.
Which is we get money and, or we get, I don't know, I can't remember how it all went. And they pay us back, or we
Yeah.
get the money up front and
And then
then,
it goes right to the thing.
yeah,
Energy grant, haven't heard back, that was
We
when they
did
came
that
and looked at
survey.
everything,
Yeah.
and we did that little part.
right, okay.
That's it.
Open to the public and other business. Is there-
Zach has something.
He does?
Oh, yeah. I went to an update hearing, this morning
Oh.
for the, dispute with Peter Lyon. And
How'd that go?
They're gonna set a date for a half day for a trial, but I think we're gonna, once me and his lawyer, or his lawyer and I, when we are able to connect and talk on the phone, she has a proposal that she wants to present. So once I discuss that, we will probably have an agreement for a settlement for that, before it goes to trial.
Okay, good,
Good.
And hopefully in the next week, I can get a hold of her, so.
okay, good. Anything else?
Set the date for the hearing.
But we're not setting
Yeah,
that
we'll-
right
we'll-
now.
we'll
We
do
have
that
to
when
do a
we
little
set
more
the-
research.
Yeah, when
before
we
can
set the select board meeting, we can talk about that too, cause, I mean, depends on what everybody's schedule is, I guess, more than
Yeah,
anything.
it's never, it's, yeah,
I'm confused, I thought,
not tonight,
no, you're not gonna set the date tonight?
no.
But, so when are you going to be all together to do this?
We don't need to be all together to set the date. We gotta
No,
look
we'll
at
just
the
work-
schedule
Yeah, we'll
and
work
figure out when we're.
we'll work with, Carrie, and we'll have a date set, and then, because it's a hearing and because it's a select board, we're gonna have to warn it in advance anyway,
Right, 5 days.
for 2 days or 3 days.
Yeah, I'll look back at that to see how long, but,
Right.
Yeah, but so we'll have to.
yep.
So we're not actually setting it tonight. Oh,
We'll have it set by the end of the week, probably.
yes,
Yeah.
okay. Follow-up, town property ordinance, rules for the rail trail and no overnight camping.
And gating the railroad bed I put down there.
Yeah, gating, I was gonna say.
All right, gating the railroad bed.
Put in there.
So we gotta have more discussion, we gotta talk about more. You have, we're talking about it, we're kinda in the planning, and then we need to get some pricing, and then obviously if we had some people that were willing to get together and kinda help us out and figure
Right.
out locations and this and that,
Now
so.
we got the 2 gates from,
And now we have 2
Possibly.
gates, so, yeah, from the, so
Yeah,
now I
it's
guess if we can round up some people, maybe even the snowmobile club or something that would be willing to work on this, to kind of plan and placement and try to figure this out. I'm assuming then we'd need ordinances to go with it. Do we need ordinances to go with it or not really? Or-
Depends on where we put the gates and how it's impacted by the,
probably kind of a
Rail trail.
policy in a way.
Yeah,
like
policy on the
will be
gates.
here, these people will have the code, the
Right.
type
Yeah.
of thing.
So I guess we'll keep working on that, and we gotta draft up an ordinance for the overnight camping on town property and so on and so forth, so that we have something to protect the town if we
Right,
have a
right, yeah,
problem. And
I know we talked about that.
we
before.
did, and the state isn't on board with us, but
No.
we are trying to protect the town
Right, right.
itself.
It's kind of funny to me that the state doesn't have something, and I don't know what other towns have either, but I know VLCT isn't supportive of it either.
I really don't, I don't know.
So we'll do some more research on
Yeah.
that and see where
Yep.
we end up getting, and maybe draft something and,
Yep.
and, see about reviewing that. Set an agenda for the June 5th.
So now we're into
Open
the
bids.
once a month
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah, starting
June
next
5th.
month is June 5th.
So what do you wanna do for July, is July 3rd?
We'll skip July and we'll just go to August.
July, I mean,
So do we wanna do towards the end of the month then, end of the month for the July meeting then?
you could, yeah,
For the
go to,
next
we
one.
could do like the second week.
Why don't we do the
part of
second week in July because of the July 3rd?
Yeah,
So July 10th?
yeah.
July 10th, yeah.
And leave June 5th or do the second week for June?
I don't know what you guys, what do you guys got going on? What's your thoughts? Would anybody?
June 5th is fine. I mean, it just means it's 5 weeks between meetings instead of 4, but,
Which it is this month.
yeah,
Right.
We have an extra week
right.
between
So-
now and June 5th. All right, and then,
So I think you leave it as the 5th.
Fifth is good with me.
Yeah, that's fine.
and
So
go
should I
back,
write on here that the following we decided would be July 10th? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we have it written down.
and then go back to the first Wednesday in August.
I will not be
Right.
here
First-
What?
the first Wednesday of August.
What?
We
Well,
better
I
do
wanted
the
to bring that
second
up.
one.
Well, we can do the second one.
So, yeah,
I
if you
guess
want
that
me
means
here,
the
the
chair's
second.
gonna have to take minutes.
Yeah,
No, but we'll move
Or
it.
Lisa can do it.
We're gonna move it. I won't be here.
I'll be in Vegas.
Okay.
Maybe I won't be here, I don't know.
So
so what
maybe
is that, August?
So,
August 12th?
14th is the second.
Yeah,
Yeah,
On
okay,
Wednesday.
14th of August,
So do that one on the 14th?
yeah.
yeah. And then September we'll be back to,
Right, cause we just do it for 3 months, right?
Yeah. Okay,
alright.
Anything else we need to, agenda for next meeting?
I guess you said the bids.
Open the bids
Open the bids
for the roof,
for the fire department.
fire department
That's
roof.
enough time, what is it now? 16th.
Um,
Get it out there next week,
Well, if not, we're going a whole nother month.
cause the bridge is so late now.
Yeah, why have I been getting it like?
Why, I got the
Because
Monday.
Because it's now printed down in Springfield, Mass or something, cause Upper Valley Press is
Oh,
closed.
I thought it was an accident and I got it on Monday or something, I'm like,
Yeah.
what? It comes on
They actually
Thursday?
gave us, didn't charge us for, Dorothy had put an ad in for that open house, and of course, the paper didn't come out.
It was
till
past due
Monday. It was
already.
past it, so they didn't charge, which is nice.
Oh,
Alright.
So
Okay.
this gets in there. I mean, be lucky to get it in next week, to get in for the next week.
Well.
But if we don't do it, it's gonna be a whole nother month before we can get to a meeting to even
Right,
deal with it.
it'll be July.
Be July, which I don't know, is that,
It
Is
still gives you 3-4 months before, to get the roof done.
so maybe we should post,
And
we should,
maybe, don't forget, all this is gonna be happening mid-June.
right, so let's do July.
Yep.
July.
July 10th?
10th,
July 10th.
yeah,
There we go.
okay,
So
I
I'm
guess
changing the
that'd
date on this.
yeah, July 10th.
Yeah.
Anything
okay.
else?
That would be it. Straight down to
Larry,
the
anything?
agenda.
I've got nothing else.
Okay. I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Good.